Hey, howdy, happy day. I likely will depress you here in a couple of minutes because I got lots of depressing stuff. It's reality, but it's about the right, it's about the left, and right and wrong. And so, hey, I want to start it off with something to lighten you up. Women, only women, join me in the Conus Islands because I got a joke for you all to show that your men maybe aren't as bright as you sometimes think they are. I want you to go way over there into the backwoods, into the Ozarks, and think about men, and everybody's inbred there, right? You got it? For this joke at least. And so Bubba and his friend, his buddy, they went to a gas station to fill up, and the guy that owned the gas station, he was enterprising. He needed more business, so he put a big sign up. He said, "Free sex with Philip." Hey, Bubba and his buddy thought this was kind of cool, so they pulled up, stopped quickly, went in and said, "Hey, I just gassed up, I want my free sex." And the gas owner station said, "Not so fast, it's a contest. Pick a number between 1 and 10. And the guy said, "I picked 2. "Oh, you were close, but it's 3. No free sex today. See ya." They drove away. A week later, they came back, the two of them again, filled up with gas, went in and said, "I'm back. I want to play the game. Free sex again." And he said, "Pick a number." Number 4. Close, but it was number 7. They drove away. The friend said to Bubba, he says, "You know what? I think that the game is rigged." And the other guy looked up and said, "It's not rigged. My wife, she won twice last week." Okay, now are you ready for some real stuff? Here it comes. We got a letter from a viewer. Thanks so much for all of you who write. Many of you are censored. Many of you can't get through. We're censored all the time. I don't know why. Why are people frightened of me? I mean, I ain't that bright. I just my mouth opens and stuff comes out. I mean, what? You censor us? But they do. That's the left, and they do it. But this guy got through with a very good thing. I wanted to share it with you. I'm going to read it word for word. Thank you so much for sending it in. I will share my thoughts with you, Brian. The left. This is with regard to taking a knee. The all-knowing left is kneeling to protest the flag and all that it represents, but they have failed to realize one very important fact. Kneeling is a sign of respect and submission. Through the ages, people have knelt or taken a knee before kings and flags or other important individuals. It's a sign of homage. And in Christian religions, kneeling is an expression of total submission to Jesus Christ and his teachings. It's pretty cute that he would bring that on. And you know what? Tell that to a liberal and watch him go insane. Because that will kind of happen in the US of A. Keep up. We're jumping around here from jokes and sex and hey, we got it all for you. But in the US of A, since COVID, call it March, more than 8 million guns have been sold, and good guys are lining up all the time, and even some guys who used to be bad guys are saying, bad being they're Democrats, and they said nobody should have a gun except the really bad guys. They're lining up now too because they're saying it ain't safe. There's riots everywhere. I mean, the most smart thing that a governing Democrat can say to the rioters is, rioters, we've got COVID going on, please stay at home and do your work. Destroy your own stuff. I mean, that's kind of the extent of it is pretty bad. Lots and lots of guns being sold, but why not? I mean, when the government tells you that governments are bad, that means that you need one. Hey, Wall Street, donors to the Democrat Party on Wall Street. Joe Biden recently had a session with them, a conference call, Zoom, I assume. I'm a poet. And he says, "I promise, if you elect me, to reverse President Donald Trump's historic tax cuts." Is that the right thing to say? I don't know that would be. Biden went on to say that 21% corporate tax rate that he gave you, that's bad. I'm going to increase it to a whopping 28% just to get more money so I can go out and waste it. I mean, Joe Biden has completely adopted the playbook of the far left. What a thing to say. I mean, Joe, you better be a better liar. Maybe you are lying. Maybe the 28% is really going to be 38%. At least you did get it right by saying, I'm going to tax you more because we're going to go out. He didn't say, but he should have. Waste your money. Because that's what the left does. And the left is attacking the right. President Trump is the right. What he does is right. They make him look bad. I mean, they keep on all of the time. They tried it all, right? Now they have his niece coming out with a book. Will that be real? Probably they're the big backers. It's like they died and went to heaven. I got a person with the last name Trump is going to write a book and say bad things. Yippee. Will it stick? I don't think so. There's right and left. The differences between the parties is extreme. You now have people on the left saying things like this, people in the press. Rough polling stretch has the operatives of the Republican Party asking, should Trump drop out? Well, you know what? That's a subliminal, okay? And should Trump drop out? I mean, probably one guy said that, and maybe they even put the words in his mouth. I mean, because that's what they're doing. Then you got Pelosi. She says this, I don't know what the Russians have on Trump. What a thing to say. If you don't know, don't say it. Her mouth opens and nothing good comes out. I mean, she's just an empty suit. I mean, good grief, woman. I don't know what I don't know stuff. I mean, but she's trying to plant that message. And unfortunately, it works, because that's a headline. When you read into the meat of it, people are headliners. They like to read the headlines, and they're, implying something about Trump. Now people are saying, hey, we don't know what it is yet. Unless you have a fact, you shouldn't talk. But these people talk all the time. It's no longer news. It's big opinions. Then you have Canada. The leader there, the prime mistake, it's unbelievable. This guy's been charged. He lies, he cheats, he's taken money and given it back when he's captured and so on. When he was doing speeches, I think it was like almost $500,000 quite a while ago, and on and on. The guy does so many wrong and bad things. And recently it was a $900 million gift to a charity that subsequently has been given back by that charity because they said, hey, we don't like the controversy. The guy is just there doing all these things. But you know what? He's giving people's money away to other people. He's given a lot of money away. This COVID has been like a gift, okay? And it's working for him, and governing parties across Canada are enjoying a surge in support like they've never had before. And the federal Liberal government with the prime mistake now is polling. They have a bump, which is the biggest for a minority government in probably history, but certainly it says here more than 60 years. But I also did read that it's in history. So it's kind of like a Teflon thing happening here. I mean, the guy's doing a whole bunch of bad stuff. He's ruining the country. Back to subliminals. You know what? He's just doing it everywhere. And now here's another subliminal. Headlines. Canadians want a 4-day work week. Will it work? Do Canadians want a 4-week? I've never heard of this before, but this is something that kind of goes with the socialist thing, right? I mean, it just doesn't end, and the people buy into it. I guess that's the scary story. And you need good people to lead a country, and even the opposing party, the Conservatives in Canada, they're just not it. The guys and gal running to lead it, we'll see, but it's frightening. It's not them so much, it's the message. They're just the messengers. You do have some of them. You have Tracy Gray in Kelowna Lake Country. It's just about on the left coast, and she's interesting. She's over there on the right. And Canada Day, all by herself. She just says, hey, it's Canada Day. Are we proud? Kind of, sort of, kind of should be. That's me saying that, not Tracy. So she went out on her own and wholesale price bought a whole whack of flags and then said, you want a Canadian flag for Canada Day? And she went personally and handed them out to people. Hundreds and hundreds of flags. She's a patriot, but she's the kind of person needed to run this country, right? You need a whole bunch of elected Tracys. Instead, you got a whole bunch of elected Trudeaus. And it ain't very nice. I mean, it's just not great. And that was her little brainstorm, and she took it to fruition. Like, she just had more than the idea. She actually went and did it. And you need that kind of stuff in government. I crafted a story about Canada. It's all about the number one. Work with me. Here it comes. I had to write it down. It's so profound. One would expect that when one elects another one to manage one's country, that the someone would be able to work to protect one's rights and culture, and that one will make Canada number one. One must adjust one's expectations. When one looks at the leaders of Canada, one politician comes to mind. That would be the prime mistake. Anyone could do better. One day he will be gone, or Canada will be messed up for everyone. I should be 200 years old to have such wisdom. And then you jump over to Alberta. You got Jason Kennedy, who's in charge there. He says that he's a conservative. I question that. He's recently released his Fair Deal panel. He had a whole bunch of recommendations in it. He wants referendums on everything. Let's have meetings to decide when the next meeting is. I want a referendum on equalization in 2021. Study the merits of an Alberta pension plan. Study, talk, no action, all talk. He's been doing that ever since he's been elected in that position. But then it goes on to say this: I want to assert more immigration for the benefit of Alberta. Are you kidding me? There's 330,000 Albertans that have lost their jobs. 330,000. And that's like having a whole bunch of kids in your house that have lost their job, and you're so irresponsible, you go out and adopt more. Are you kidding me? And this guy, I remember a couple of years ago, his Christmas message for Alberta, he was the Premier of Alberta, his message was, when I was a federal immigration guy, I brought a whole bunch of people in from Iran. What? There shouldn't be any immigration until your people work. I mean, immigration's okay, but not today. 330,000 people out of work, and you want to bring more? I mean, this is the same guy that says, I'm going to create a whole bunch of new jobs. We got more jobs coming. You know why? He's putting in $10 billion into projects to create employment. And he thinks that's free enterprise? Are you... That just is so frightening that you got guys like him who think they're conservative. It's fraudulent behavior, I gotta tell you. And they're out... The private sector has to create jobs, not the government. You have to make the playing field good. You have to make it level. You have to make sure there's no debris on it. But then it's up to the other players to make it happen. You need to watch over those players to make sure that they're not doing bad and mean things. But this is his idea of free enterprise. I'll put in $10 billion and I'm going to bring in more people. Bad, bad, bad. You know what? And then he complains about pensions. You got a guy now with the Wex that says, I'm going to come out and help them move. Separate. And Kennedy says, hey, if you do that, you should get rid of your federal MP pension. You know, it works out to $3.3 million for Jay Hill, while Jason Kennedy is projected to receive double that, over $6 million. These pensions are controversial anyway, but nice try. He goes on to say, this is an empty threat to be a sovereignist in Alberta. It's not that empty, really. You know what? You got to kind of watch what you say, because things could happen yesterday. The sun was shining on the Sunshine Coast in British Columbia, Canada, and I was there, and I drove by a beach. I saw all these white people out there, you know. Made me wonder, you bunch of racists, you're white and you're out here trying to get black, I guess. Trying to get dark. You're putting on suntan lotion, some of you, and some of you aren't. You're really going to get dark. And you know what? Bad behavior. A little sarcasm there at the end of the day. You all come back. Who cares what color you are? You should have the right. You have the right to go out and do that stuff. And everyone's changing their names and nobody likes white people anymore. Even the white people are trying to get dark in the sun. Hey, I got a headache. See you here day after tomorrow, maybe tomorrow.